Everyone believed the alien princess burned with the outpost. The war paused because of her death. Billions mourned. Armies stood down. Peace was signed over her ashes. But 3 days later, deep inside twisted metal and broken promises, a human salvager heard a faint signal, and everything changed. The Corvallis peace outpost floated like a dead star near the edge of neutral space. Once it had been bright with banners, diplomats, and hopeful speeches. Now it was nothing but drifting debris and silence. Jace Arden did not come for peace. He came for scrap. His ship, the Iron Comet, hovered carefully near the wreckage. Its hull was patched in different colors, proof of too many close calls and not enough money. Jace liked it that way. Ugly ships were underestimated. Radiation stable. Structural integrity of the debris field, terrible, said Nova, the ship's AI, her voice calm and almost bored. That's my favorite kind, Jace replied. Terrible means nobody else wants it. He guided his small shuttle toward what used to be the residential wing. Official reports said there were 0 survivors. Humans and Alari alike had died when someone fired the first plasma shot during negotiations. No one admitted who started it. Both sides blamed each other. War almost followed. Almost. Because the Alari princess had died. Princess Lyara of House Varel. Diplomat. Scholar. Symbol of peace. Her death had stopped fleets from moving. Jace landed on a fractured docking plate. His boots touched metal that had melted and hardened like frozen waves. Smoke stains still marked the walls. The air inside his helmet smelled recycled and dry. Quick in and out, he muttered. Power cores. Data drives. Maybe something shiny. He moved carefully through collapsed corridors. His scanner painted faint outlines of broken rooms. He tried not to think about the people who had once lived there. Then Nova spoke again, her tone shifting slightly. Jace, I am detecting an active Alari life beacon. He froze. That's not possible. It is faint, but consistent. Origin approximately 30 meters below your position. Jace stared at the scanner. The beacon pulsed weakly, almost buried under radiation noise. Could be malfunctioning tech, he said. Probability of malfunction, 12%. Probability of biological source, 88%. He swore quietly. The rational part of him said to leave. This was not his war. Not his problem. But humans were curious by nature. Sometimes stupidly so. Mark the path, he said. And if this whole place collapses, record something heroic about me. I will fabricate something flattering, Nova replied. He found a narrow gap between fallen support beams and squeezed through. Metal groaned around him. Dust floated in his helmet lights. Every movement felt like it might trigger the rest of the structure to fall. The signal grew stronger. 10 meters. 5. Then he saw her. She was pinned under a shattered support column, green skin pale under dried silver blood. Her long dark hair was tangled across her face. The golden spiral crest of the Alari royal house was burned into the torn fabric of her robes. Even covered in dust, she looked unmistakable. Princess Lyara. Her eyes were closed. Jace stepped closer, scanning quickly. She's alive, Nova confirmed. As if hearing that, her amber eyes flickered open. They focused slowly on him. You are late, she whispered. Jace blinked. Yeah. Sorry about that. Her lips twitched slightly. Even half crushed under wreckage, she carried herself with strange calm. You are human. Last I checked. Good, she said faintly. That complicates everything. He almost laughed. Instead, he knelt and examined the beam trapping her. This is going to hurt, he warned. It already does. Carefully, using a portable lift and his suit's enhanced strength servos, he raised the broken support just enough. The princess gritted her teeth but did not scream. Humans screamed more than she did. He dragged her free and sealed a medical patch over a deep wound along her side. Your biology is not fully in my database, Nova warned. Do your best, Jace muttered. I always do. 2 tense hours later, he carried the unconscious princess into the Iron Comet's medical bay. As the hatch sealed, Jace leaned against the wall. I just stole a princess, he said softly. Correction, Nova replied. You rescued a princess. Her being alive could restart the war. Or end it permanently. He looked through the glass at her resting form. Humans were not the strongest species. Not the oldest. Not the most advanced. But they were adaptable. And dangerously creative. 6 hours later, Liara woke. She sat up too fast and winced. You are not dead, Jace observed. Disappointing many, I assume, she said quietly. She looked around the human ship with careful curiosity. You removed me from the outpost. Yeah. Why? He shrugged. You had a pulse. She studied him like he was the strange alien. My death stopped my father's fleet from burning your colonies. I figured. If they learn I live, the War Council will assume deception. Exactly. Silence settled between them. Finally she spoke again. You understand strategy. I understand survival. Her eyes sharpened. Then you understand this. Someone wanted me dead. Not just politically dead. Truly dead. Yeah, he said. And if they find out you're breathing, they'll try again. She held his gaze. Will you return me to my empire? He hesitated. If he did, humans might be blamed for hiding her. If he didn't, he would be kidnapping royalty. Either choice was dangerous. Then he smiled slightly. Princess, humans are very good at impossible problems. Her expression shifted with curiosity. That is either comforting or terrifying. Both, he said. Outside, in deep space, long-range scanners flickered. Alari patrol ships were searching the debris field again. And they were not alone. Nova's voice cut through the quiet. Jace. Multiple incoming signatures. Not broadcasting identification codes. Liara's eyes widened. Assassins, she whispered. Jace exhaled slowly. Good thing humans don't play by the rules. He turned toward the cockpit. Because sometimes, when the universe believes something is finished, a human shows up and rewrites the ending. 3 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel without broadcasting a single code. They did not come with banners. They did not come with diplomats. They came silent. Inside the Iron Comet, alarms flared red across the cockpit. Unmarked vessels locking on, Nova said. They are not Alari royal signatures. Weapon systems charging. Princess Liara went still. Her calm mask cracked for the first time. That is not my father's fleet, she said. Those ships belong to House Carath. Jace strapped himself into the pilot chair. And House Carath would want you dead because if I live, I inherit the throne. Well, Jace muttered, flipping switches. That seems like important information you could have mentioned earlier. The first plasma shot streaked past them, close enough to shake the hull. They are not here to confirm, Liara said quietly. They are here to erase. Jace's fingers moved fast across controls. The Iron Comet was not a warship. It was built to haul freight and run when things got ugly. Which meant it was perfect for this. Nova, divert all non-essential power to engines. Already done. The second blast struck near enough to spin them. Warning lights flashed. They will overpower us within 4 minutes, Nova calculated. Then we don't fight, Jace said. We disappear. He pushed the engines hard and dove straight back toward the debris field of the destroyed outpost. Liara gripped the edge of her seat. You are flying toward unstable wreckage. Correct. That is irrational. No, Jace said. It's human. The comet plunged into drifting metal and shattered station fragments. Large warships slowed. They could not risk damaging themselves in tight debris. Jace could. He twisted the ship through narrow gaps, using fragments as cover. A broken solar array scraped their hull, sparks flying. Behind them, The larger ships hesitated. They are deploying drones, Nova warned. Of course they are. Small hunter drones slipped into the debris field. Fast. Agile. Armed. Liara looked at him sharply. You cannot outrun them. Not planning to. He opened a hidden panel and armed something Liara did not recognize. What is that? Trash, he said. He ejected dozens of small cargo pods filled with metallic scrap and volatile fuel residue. Nova triggered remote ignition. The debris field became chaos. Explosions lit the darkness like a storm of artificial stars. Shrapnel tore through the drones. Metal fragments confused targeting systems. Humans did not always build the strongest weapons. But they built clever ones. 2 drones vanished in fire. The third retreated. The larger warships stayed back. Enemy ships holding position, Nova reported. They are reassessing. Jace slowed behind a drifting piece of the outpost's main reactor shell. Liara stared at him. You turned garbage into a weapon. Recycling, he said. Very eco-friendly. Her eyes narrowed with new understanding. Your species adapts faster than our intelligence reports suggest. We had practice, he said. We spent most of our history fighting each other. Silence filled the cockpit for a moment. Then Nova spoke again. New transmission. Alari Royal encryption. Liara straightened instantly. Patch it through. A holographic image flickered to life. An older Alari male appeared, his silver hair braided with symbols of command. His face was carved from grief and iron. Liara, he breathed. Father. Jace realized he was staring at the Emperor of the Alari Empire. You live, the Emperor said. For now, she replied. House Kareth seeks to correct that. The Emperor's expression darkened. I feared betrayal. But this confirms it. Behind him, fleet officers moved quickly. Jace crossed his arms. So here's the problem, he said. If your fleet jumps in guns blazing, we're in the middle. The Emperor's eyes shifted to Jace. You are the human who saved her. Salvager, Jace corrected. Accidental hero. You risked war to rescue my daughter. Jace shrugged. I didn't know she was royalty at first. Liara almost smiled. The Emperor studied the tactical feed. House Kareth has positioned their ships between us and you. They want open conflict. If we engage, they will claim humans are hiding my daughter to manipulate the throne. Which restarts the war, Jace said. Yes. Liara leaned forward despite her injuries. Father, listen carefully. We cannot solve this with fleet power. The Emperor frowned. What do you propose? She glanced at Jace. Human strategy. Jace blinked. Wait, what? You said humans solve impossible problems. I say a lot of things under pressure. But her eyes were steady. You know how they think differently. We need that. The Emperor watched him. Jace exhaled slowly. Okay. Here's the move. He pulled up the sensor map. House Kareth thinks you'll respond with military force. They want spectacle. So don't give it to them. What then? The Emperor asked. Information. Liara understood first. Expose them, she whispered. Exactly, Jace said. We broadcast proof that they attacked us. Proof that they tried to assassinate the heir after peace was declared. The Emperor hesitated. That risks revealing her survival publicly. Which forces their hand, Jace replied. They can't deny attacking a living princess. And they can't openly fight the throne without looking like traitors. Silence stretched. Humans were young compared to the Alari. But humans thought sideways. Finally, the Emperor nodded. Do it. Nova began transmitting full combat recordings across every major communication relay in the sector. House Kareth ships realized too late. One of them tried to jam the signal. Jace anticipated that too. He piggybacked the transmission through civilian freight channels, pirate relays, even gambling satellites. Humans were everywhere. Within minutes, the footage spread. Across Alari space. Across human colonies. Across neutral systems. The truth moved faster than fleets. House Kareth ships powered down weapons. They began retreating. They cannot fight public exposure, Liara said softly. The Emperor's image flickered with grim pride. You have done what my admirals could not. Jace leaned back in his chair. We're good at embarrassing powerful people. Liara looked at him differently now. Not as a rescuer. Not as a stranger. But as something dangerous in a new way. Hope. Outside, the enemy ships vanished into hyperspace. War had been avoided. Again. But this time, not by sacrifice. By human creativity. And this was only the beginning. The assassination attempt failed. The truth spread across the stars. But peace was not yet safe. Because House Kareth had lost something far more dangerous than ships. They had lost control of the narrative. And desperate people are the most dangerous of all. 2 days after the broadcast, Liara stood inside the observation deck of the Iron Comet, wrapped in a simple human jacket that still smelled faintly of engine grease. Her injuries were healing. Slowly. Outside the viewport, the Alari Imperial fleet floated in formation. Hundreds of ships. Silver and gold. Ancient and powerful. And between them, small and unimpressive, sat one patched human freighter. Jace leaned against the wall with a cup of something that claimed to be coffee. You know, he said, most people celebrate by not standing in front of a fleet that could vaporize them. Liara did not look away from the stars. Most people do not wake up from their own funeral. Fair point. Behind them, Nova's voice came softer than usual. Imperial internal transmissions intercepted. House Kareth forces have split. Some surrendering. Some mobilizing. Jace exhaled slowly. They're going to try something reckless. Liara nodded. Yes. A final move. And that move came faster than expected. A stolen Alari dreadnought dropped from hyperspace directly behind the Imperial formation. Not Kareth colors. Not Imperial colors. Black. Modified. Illegal weapons signatures. Impossible, Liara whispered. Jace's scanner zoomed in. That's not House Kareth. Nova processed quickly. Ship identified as the Obsidian Crown. It was decommissioned 50 years ago. The Emperor's image appeared on screen again, tension visible even through hologram distortion. It was scrapped. Not scrapped, Jace said quietly. Sold. Piece by piece. Off the record. The dreadnought powered up a weapon larger than anything in the Imperial fleet. This is not political, Liara realized. This is chaos. Yes, Jace said. Someone wants both empires burning. The Obsidian Crown transmitted a message across open channels. Alari Empire. Humans. Your fragile peace ends now. Energy built along its spine. It was not targeting the fleet. It was targeting the nearest human colony world. Liara turned to Jace. If that fires. Millions die, he finished. The Imperial fleet began maneuvering. Too slow. Too far. The human colony was closer to the dreadnought than anyone else. Jace's eyes moved fast across the tactical map. Nova. Can we reach it? Direct engagement probability of survival, 8%. Too high, he muttered. Liara stepped closer. You will not win in combat. Good thing I don't plan to. He turned to the Emperor. Your Majesty, do you trust your fleet's targeting systems? Of course. Can you override them? The Emperor frowned. For what purpose? Jace smiled faintly. To miss. The Emperor hesitated. Liara understood first. You want them to fire at you. Not at me, Jace corrected. At a specific coordinate I'm about to transmit. He pushed the Iron Comet's engines to maximum and launched straight toward the Obsidian Crown. Liara grabbed the nearest console. That is suicide. Not if they think we're stupid. The dreadnought locked onto them immediately. Small human vessel approaching, Nova reported. Enemy charging secondary cannons. Jace opened every communication channel. This is independent human vessel Iron Comet. Broadcasting live. You want war? You'll have to kill us first. The transmission echoed everywhere. The dreadnought adjusted targeting. Liara stared at him. You are bait. Humans are very good at being underestimated. The Imperial fleet received Jace's encrypted coordinates. Fire at my mark, Jace said calmly. The Emperor's voice came through. You are certain. Trust me. The dreadnought fired first. A beam of black energy shot toward the Iron Comet. At the exact same second, the Imperial fleet fired, not at the dreadnought's core, but slightly ahead of it. To anyone watching, it looked like chaos. It wasn't. Jace angled his ship at the last possible moment. The dreadnought's beam passed close enough to rattle every bolt. The Imperial barrage struck the Obsidian Crown's forward shield at the same instant its own main cannon discharged. The collision of energies overloaded its weapon core. For half a second, the dreadnought glowed brighter than a star. Then it tore itself apart. The shockwave rippled outward. Jace's ship spun violently, systems flickering. Silence filled the cockpit. Then Nova spoke. Enemy vessel destroyed. The Imperial fleet held formation. The human colony world remained untouched. Across every channel in known space, billions watched. A single human freighter had flown directly at a dreadnought and lived. Liara exhaled slowly. You calculated their firing cycle. And your fleet's reaction time, Jace said. You used their own power against them. Humans learned that trick a long time ago. The Emperor's image returned, no longer just a ruler, but something else. Respect. You risked your species to save mine. Jace shook his head. No. I risked myself so neither of us would have to. There was a difference. Liara stepped forward. In our history, strength meant dominance. Power meant control. Today, a human showed us another definition. She looked at Jace, eyes bright. Strength is the refusal to let destruction win. Across the fleet, Alari ships shifted formation. They aligned not in war stance, but in unity. The Emperor spoke clearly across all channels. Let it be recorded. Humanity did not hide my daughter. Humanity preserved peace. From this moment forward, they are not rivals. They are allies. On distant human worlds, cheers erupted. Not because they had won a war, but because they had prevented one. Jace finally allowed himself to breathe. Well, he said, that was exciting. Liara almost laughed. You turned salvage work into galactic history. He shrugged. Humans are creative. She looked out at the stars. And curious. And stubborn, he added. She nodded. Yes. That most of all. Far across space, fleets recalibrated not for battle, but for cooperation. Trade routes reopened. Joint patrols formed. Shared research began. Because one human had refused to walk away from a faint signal in the ruins. And because humanity, when pushed to the edge, did not simply survive. They innovated. They adapted. They stood in front of extinction and said, no. And the universe listened.